The sands of time do finally run out, and here at the Sim Racing for Simpletons 2025 winter season, the sands of the North Sea coast and Circuit Zandvoort, just 35 kilometres west of Amsterdam, see us have a fantastic series finale. Hello everyone, welcome to the JP Broadcasting Network as you join your commentary team Alex Goldschmidt and James Parfitt once again. We're now at the final hurrah, round 8 out of 8, and it comes down to the wire for both the drivers and the Simpleton Cup rankings. But let's have a look back first of all at what happened last time out in Styria at Spielberg at the Red Bull Ring. Well, Adam Merchant took another pole position and another victory, securing him with a welcome advantage coming into this final round of the season. His closest rival, JT Smeaton, is the only other driver that can challenge him to the crown, and Smeaton has got to beat him significantly for it to make any bit of difference when it comes to the winter season title. Felipe Sarkis showed a pretty good run last time out of the Red Bull ring, rounded out P3, ahead of Elliot Court, who, despite having come into this championship on round 3 at Interlagos, definitely has made an impression. Carson Keane, our resident doctor of track limits, rounded out the top 5 ahead of Nodibit ML in the Scuderia Ferrari tribute band in 6th place. Jeff Groff, Frankie Brzezinski, Frankie Arvello and Jake Katz rounded out your top 10 with Christian Jasper, Joao Itoborani, Josh Benjamin, Braden Carroll, Joel Peguero, Anthony Zitch, Bryce Brenton and Brian Long, who is, this is his last round as the man behind Sim Racing for Simpletons. But don't fear, folks, there is plenty of things happening in the wings. Driver standings, it's 9 points between current points leader Adam Merchant and JT Smeaton. 171 plays 162. Elliot Court is in the hot seat for rounding out the top 3 overall on 135. Carson Keane on 121. Jeff Groff on 115. Tim Perry, who's been a notable absentee, could have been in with a shot at least a top 3 finish come the end of this season, but it's going to be outside of the top 5 for the Brit. Gabriel Hopp and Frankie Arvello, both having their fair share of dramas. They are 7th equal on 94 points apiece, with Josh Benjamin and Braden Carroll rounding out your top 10. 28 drivers have scored points so far, but it could be down to the final race for the Simpleton Cup standings, because Dirty Mike and the boys lead by 26 points heading into this June backdropped circuit, as they're on 206 ahead of FNG Racing's Frankie Brzezinski and Gabriel Hopp rounding out the top 2. Ghost Squadra, Camber Sim Sports and Platino Power SRT round out your top 5, covered by 44 points. Max Altitude, SR4S, then we got Halo Tracks Toyota, Torta Racing, Rush Hour Racing and Glee round out your teams. And with that, James Parfitt, welcome back. It's the last hurrah here for the winter season for Sim Racing for Simpletons, mate. It's been an adventure, let's say that much.
Yeah, it definitely has. I think the interesting thing is obviously it's the last hurrah for quite a lot of people here within this the thing as well, and most notably Mr. Brian Long. But the grid is up on your screen now.
Well, JT Smeaton has got himself an additional point. It brings the gap down to 8. He's put it on pole. He's got Elliot Court alongside him on the front row. Braden Carroll and Gabriel Hopp ran out row 2. Jeff Groff, Frankie Brzezinski row 3. Christian Jasper, and get this for a development, the points leader Adam Merchant starting on the outside of row number 4. Carson King and Nick Dwornik ran out row 5. Frankie Arvello, Felipe Sarkis, Joel Peguero, Anthony Zitch, Jake Katz, Bryce Benton and Joshua Benjamin round out our 17 competitors. We're waiting for our pole sitter to jump on along with our man in 3rd. That's JT Smeaton, Braden Carroll. Anthony Zitch due to start on the outside of row 7, yet to ready up. But it's going to be 31 laps of this 2.646 mile circuit, 14 turns in all, as we are readied up for the final time here in the winter season of 2025 for Sim Racing for Simpletons here at Circuit Zandvoort, the home of the Dutch Grand Prix, as the lights are out. And for the final time this season, we go hurtling down into T1. And straight away, Elliott caught. Well, that was I think that was Braden Carroll trying to look around the outside, going into T1 at Tarzan. Now into Gerlach for the first time, and JT Smeaton got the whole shot, uses the high side of the banking, and carries it nicely through as we go in towards Slaughtermacher and turn 7, the downhill right-hander at high speed. Shaveluck coming up next, then it's into Masters here at turn number 8, but straight away Smeaton has bolted. Meantime, Merchant in the opening exchanges, well, at the minute, JP, Merchant needs to be 4th or higher to tie it on points, and thereby it goes to count back on wins, and Adam Merchant's had 4 already this season.
Yeah, he's done a great job, and he is sitting in 5th at the moment, up 3 places, chasing down Gabriel Hop. Almost got through on Hop. Hop managed to get back at him again, so it's going to be interesting to see what Merchant could do. JT out in front, and already he's 2.5 seconds up the road from Adam Merchant, so Merchant's got to be a little bit careful what he does here. He's got to make sure he can stay with him. JT with the obviously the pole position point. Don't forget the push to passes at the same time. They've all got push to pass. 200 seconds throughout the whole entire race. It's going to be interesting to see how that one works out. Elliott caught Braden Carroll side by side.
Whoa, Braden Carroll round the outside at Tarzan in the run into Gerlach and then into Hugenholtz. That was a tidy manoeuvre by the number 9. I think Elliott got caught unawares there, pardon the pun, but that was a great move there from Braden Carroll, and now he's gotten away by the tune of about 5.5 tenths of a second, and now he can go chasing after JT Smeaton. Now, if that changes and Carroll takes the win, then it will go to Adam Merchant, and he will have, I think, probably a handful of points in it. But this is the closest, I think, season in sim racing for Simpletons history where a title has come down right to the wire. And Adam Merchant still holding on to that 5th spot, trying to close the gap onto the Brazilian Gabriel Hop as we head into the Hansansbocht, the S's. And then it's going to be the run into Kumo. And this is where the banking really comes into play, especially coming out of turn 14, named after Indy 500 legend Ari Lyondike, because Gabriel Hop takes a trip through the kitty litter on the high banking. But Adam Merchant just biding his time here, JP. He's not pushing significantly to the point where he knows that it's in it for the long game. You know, there's still this plus another 28 laps to go.
Yeah, I think we've seen this all season with their push to pass, haven't they? They've managed to save it right the way to the end. You're going to be off shot there, Gabriel, but it's going to be tough for Adam Merchant to be able to get that line. He did manage to get that line, and that was all because Gabriel Hop made that mistake. He made the mistake going into the carousel, and unfortunately got it all a little bit wrong for him. But Adam Merchant now up 4 places into 4th. The doctor himself, Mr. Carson Keane, is down 3 places at the moment. He's struggling here into the right-hander as well, and at the moment old doctor of off tracks, well, he's got the he's right down the back at the moment.
Yeah, probably a couple of doctored off tracks have facilitated that, and a very warm welcome to people watching on the other stream at the moment. I see that there's 42 plus watching on our other stream at the moment, so we are restreaming this, not just on YouTube at the moment on the JP Broadcasting Network, but yeah, Carson Keane, he's always been, oh no, Joel Peguero opens the barn doors open, and Carson Keane says thank you very much. But of course, a lot of them, like we find on long start finish rates, especially here at Circuit Zandvoort here, JP, yeah, they're not having to use that significantly at the moment.
No, it's not. It's all draft dependent as well, isn't it? That's the thing. It's a lot of draft dependency going on. There's no real reason to use the push to pass. We saw it at Monza. Didn't get used till the very end of the race, but you can see what's happening in front. Joel Peguero, Carson Keane, Nick Dwarnick. Dwarnick was one of the fastest in practice, had done a great job, but now, unfortunately, he's dropped all the way down. He's down in 10th place, is Dwarnick, the only man apart from the leader with JT and Christian Jasper, who has not changed positions over the opening period of this race. They've been in the same places all the way along, and at the moment we've got Adam Merchant sitting in 4th place doing enough up 4, JT out in front doing what he has to do, but it's not quite enough for him.
Yeah, it looks like Braden Carroll is on a bit of a charge at the moment. 1 minute 16.036 as they are going to come through the Adi Leyendyk bocht at turn number 14, and it's very, very high banking. And you can just see the right hand down, Carson Keane keeping very close to the inside apex, then keeping it right far left on the start finish straight. And look at the run he's got on Nick Dvornik. Is he going to late break into the inside of Tarzan? He's going to give it a try, give it a run. It's going to be a left-hander coming up in the run down to Gerlach, and this could be very, very close indeed. Carson Keane and Nick Dvornik wheel to wheel, going through into Hugenholtz, then the run up to Hunsrück, and at this time Carson Keane takes a trip through the grass there. That's a good way to dirty your tyres on the right hand side.
Yeah, he was off the line anyway, going into the banking. He needed to be a little bit higher, but he was trying to run around the outside, but he just couldn't quite get there. Dvornik kind of positioned his car in the middle and was like, yeah, if you're going to have a go, mate, you're going to have to take a long road round, and it's going to be difficult. But however, for Dvornik, just having a blink there as well, Carson Keane's going to be running side by side into the right-hander of Hans Erck at the moment. Is he going to be able to make it through this time? No, he manages to still hold on from Carson Keane, but I tell you what, Carson Keane's pressurising him like crazy.
Yeah, and now it's a quintet of drivers, excuse me, because you've got Nick Dvornik, Carson Keane, Joel Peguero, Anthony Zitch and Jake Katz within half a second of each other when you look at the gaps. And now, push to pass being engaged by Nick Dvornik. Here comes Anthony Zitch up the inside through at Tarzan T1. Neat as you like, shuts the door on Joel Peguero, and that is 12th.
Yeah, Anthony Zitch moves himself up 2 places at the moment. Merchant has, I would say, escaped away from Gabriel Hopp, but he did, and then he managed to get pulled back in again. So Hopp again nestled in behind him at the same time here for Gabriel Hopp. So he's going to have to be challenging going into turn 9 at the moment. Box 9 is there and into 10, but at the moment Gabriel Hopp, the FNG fast Brazilian, as we know, is going to be up against it without a Merchant. Merchant's not really looking comfortable though at the moment at this circuit, sitting in 4th, not where we expected it to be. He was away for a few weeks. Elliott Court took a few wins in a row, and then Merchant come back and just said, well, hold my beer, thanks very much, I'm off, I'll have that back. And he did take it back again. So now for Merchant, he's got to try and look at making his way forward, but he has got 2.4 seconds to Elliott Court. So could be an interesting one for Merchant. Still not on the push to pass either. So that's going to be an interesting line to see when he's starting to use that.
Yeah, Gabriel Hopp, I did notice that actually had the tail wagging the dog on the back end of the car going through turn 10 as we ride on board with the man who is on course at this moment in time to be level on points with JT Smeaton, our race leader, who's got pole position. And if he takes a maximum score of 31 points, it will put Merchant in the hot seat based on how many wins he has had this season. No one has had more wins than this man. I think, what's the term? The winningest driver this season, I think, is the terminology that we can use for Adam Merchant. Meantime, Nick Dvornik has been passed by Doctor of Off-Tracks, Carson Keane, for 10th place. So a real good three-way scrap happening for 10th, 11th and 12th as they come through turn 9 and then into bocht 10, and then the run down to Hans Ansbocht, which is used to be known at one point as the Audi Sport S's, as Zandvoort has hosted a lot of racing alongside Formula 1 and also in the Virtual World Super Formula, but it's also hosted, funny enough, it was actually the first place I ever went to overseas. I was reporting on the 2013 DTM season that year, and it was a very, very different circuit to what we have now, and you can see this. It's like boxers are, bopping and jucking and weaving, aren't they, on the start-finish straight? It's like, yeah, one move fine, but don't try and make it double up, because that will be policed in some way, shape or form post-race. Jake Katz, the other one of the Halo Tracks Toyotas, along with Nick Dvornik. And hello, there we go. We've got Vertigo, AKFJR. Hey, JP Broadcasting, Zandvoort, nice. It is a circuit that some people do like for its historical value, myself being one of them.
Yeah, they don't like it always necessarily on the driving value. That's the thing. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people can learn on it, some people can't. Some people can figure it out as they go along. And again, some people can't. It's very much Marmite based. I think that's the thing. You either love it or you hate it. And unfortunately, I am not a lover of Marmite. However, Nick Dwarnick, I do need you to stay still for me. Otherwise, you are going to cause me some issues if you keep blinking in and out. But I don't mind this circuit. Again, it's not in my top 5 favourite, Alex, but it's not in my bottom 10. You know what I mean? It sits in the middle there as well. We've also going to have a special chat with Brian Long very shortly. He's going to come in and have a chat with us as well. As we know, Brian's stepping away from the series. He will still be driving, but he's taken away, he's handed over ownership to Anthony Zitch and some of the other admins, and he will be stepping away. So this will be Brian's effective, last chat with us as the owner of SR4S. He's worked tirelessly hard over the last 2 years, put in more effort than I've ever seen any team owner to do, and he's done an absolute stellar job. So we will pull him in the next couple of laps, have a chat with him here as well. Just want to see what happens with Anthony Zitch before we start bringing Brian into the booth.
Yeah, I mean, he's closing that gap to Nick considerably at certain points. I mean, he's just put in a 1:16.7. Nick just did a high 1:17.1. So pace is there with Anthony in 12th at the moment. We have still got 17 runners and riders that started this race just 9 laps ago. Frankie Brzezowski all the way down to the tail end of the tree, so to speak. But JT Smeaton is extending. Well, he's keeping the lead stabilised here, and that's a very, very good strategy, especially when you've only got really the start-finish straight, and maybe if you're lucky going through into Hungenholz and trying to get through. What have you noticed,
Nick
JP?
Dornick there just trying to weave, but he weaved himself onto the grass. So,
whoops.
Yeah, probably not best to be doing that. Pay attention, son. You don't want to weave yourself onto the grass, and you don't want to weave a jumper by going backwards and forwards anyway at the same time. So there we go. It's going to be interesting. It's starting to settle down a little bit. We're going to bring Mr. Long into the booth into the next lap. But don't forget, guys, as well, we are obviously going out on YouTube, and we ventured onto the JPB TikTok channel as well. So if you've got TikTok, hit us up and search JP Broadcasting on there. You will find us on that. Again, like, subscribe, turn on the bells, and do all that other fancy jazz at the same time. But I think that's probably our time to bring in Mr. Brian Long into the booth, the man that's worked tirelessly in this league since I've been here, because, well, we were first and we are still now here at the same time. It's been a good while here as well, but let's bring Brian into the booth. Brian, welcome in, bud.
Hey, thank you.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. Tired in the middle of packing and moving, but good.
So tell us then, we know you started SR4S. What's the situation going on at the moment?
Nothing major, really. It started as a passion project, and it's been a blast to run it. But just, it's not a business. We don't make any money doing it or anything like that. So it's hard to justify it when it takes up too much time. I've got a lot of good things going on in life, but they're taking up a lot of time, and it's conflicting. And so I wanted to make sure that if I had to give something up, like SR4S and the time dedication to it, that it was going to go to the right people, and that it was in a good place where we could leave it to be still doing what it's doing and growing. This felt like a good time to do it. So
yeah,
it's been good.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of changes over the years. Me and you, we've been here together pretty much from the beginning. And we've been through it all. We've been through the highs of 5 drivers to 9 drivers to 12 drivers. So now we're up to 17. Have been above 20 this season, which is the most it's been since both of us, since you started the league and since I've been here broadcasting it. It's been a good progression, though, hasn't it? It's been, if nothing else, interesting.
It has, and that it kind of started out as this weird experiment where we tried to run it a little more European time friendly at the beginning, and we had a good group way back in the day with Daniel Whitfield and Robert Ridgway, and that was a lot of fun. And then it just wasn't keeping up, and it was hard on Saturdays, so we moved it to more of an America's time slot, and that kind of caused problems. Plus the new car with the Super Formula, but we persevered and we worked through. And like you said, you've been here since the beginning. So you and I remember back originally it was Zach Sweeney and Biggles were our 2, and then after the transition we were lucky enough to get you. So been fun.
It's been a long road, though, isn't it? You know, we go over this period of time, and you know, it took somewhat of a kick up the bum message from you, Brian, to get where we're at to today.
Yeah. That was. I don't like to think about that season.
Oh, mate, come on!
It was so stressful. It was so stressful.
We have
I know.
to talk about it.
It was good. It was so good though, because you know everyone was excited for the new car. We were so excited for the new format, but then nobody was signing up, and it was not this. I think it was fall season. Yeah, last fall, 2024. And just nobody was signing up. We said, guys, you either want to race or you don't, and if you want this to continue, you got to sign up or we're done. Because I was burning out, and just the overwhelming show of support that came after that message, and the number of drivers that showed up and really kind of backed us up, and then showed why it's so fun. And then we have all those races that we can go back and watch from last season, and you know, having those full grids of 20 cars, 24 cars. It was so, you know, it was a blast. I'm glad we did. I'm glad we did kind of light a fire up under everyone's butt and got everyone moving, because now here we are, and just can't. Now we're questioning, should we field two fields just because the demand is high enough?
No, let's see.
Nope, we're not going to. Don't worry.
No,
don't worry.
I was going to say, don't panic me that way, mate.
Thank God for that.
Yeah.
No. I'm just saying we have the luxury now, and that's nice. Because whereas before we were panicking about filling half a grid, now we're like, well, we have enough we could do two if we really wanted.
Yeah, let's
and
not
that's
push
a good
it.
problem to have.
Let's keep it full on here, mate. Let's keep it
And
full.
if we do push it, it's not my problem anymore.
If they say push it, they better talk to me first, mate, because I'm not doing it. That's it. We're having this conversation in the meantime. But what's next for you, dude? You know, it's been a road and it's been a journey all the way through with SR4S. But where's now Brian Long going? What are we going to see out of you?
Sim racing wise?
Both, mate. Come on, you got personals, you got sim racing.
All
What
right,
you been doing?
Yeah, sorry, you know, I don't like to be in the spotlight much.
I know.
But yeah, sim racing, I'm gonna still be here fighting. I'm really excited. I kind of at Imola this season, I kind of showed that I'm still fast when I get a week to practice. And it was nice for me to get that reassurance, because it's been a few years where I put a lot of time into the league. I don't get to put a lot of time into practice. You know, nights I'm messaging people, I'm organizing things, I'm building out regulations or building the schedule, and it's you can't put in as many laps as you'd like, and that's the key to being fast in these leagues, especially in fixed setups where it's just down to how many laps have you done and how familiar you are with the track and the car. Sorry, I'm running out of breath. I've been sick all week, so and so I get to practice and I get to race, and so I'm really looking forward to next season. I'm going to work on the open setups for the league for the SFL season we're doing next month, and I'm going to actually get to go practice and go compete, and I'm excited to see where I'm going to end up. But also I get to go do more endurance stuff now too, which I've been dying to get back to, getting back into the GTPs and the GT3s and doing road courses that way as well. And then on the personal side, I've spent the last 3 years working on my kind of new career path. I was a history teacher for middle school for a little while, and that was my degree in my education, but it just didn't quite work out. Not surprisingly, but it's not it's not the easiest career, let's put it that way.
Mate, I've been there. I've been in education. I come out of education, and now I work at home talking about pretend race cars on virtual circuits.
Perfect. Then you'll understand that I've been working on writing fiction fantasy novels for young adults, and my first novel's finally finished. It's in editing right now, and artists are working on the cover art and all that fun stuff. And so that's actually coming out in June, and Anthony's helping me work on the branding for that as well. So I've kind of got a really cool team, and I'm going to self-publish, but with heavy investment on my side. And it's very nerve-wracking, but very exciting, because now, like kind of with the league, where I was like, okay, if you put the work in and you make it look good and you really put substance into it, you can take it somewhere. And so I'm kind of hoping I can do the same way with my writing.
Okay,
and that's what's exciting.
So when do I get my signed book, first off?
June. I can send it to you in June.
All right, we'll see it in June. And can we know the title, or are we not allowed? And are you going out as Brian Long, or have you developed some Brian Fandangle
No, that's
name?
Brian Long. No, that's Brian Long.
Oh, he's not doing a Stephen King with the Backman books back in the day when he did the Running Man.
Yeah, he's
Something like that.
changing his name, is he? He's going to
No pseudonyms here.
Yeah, he's going Long Brian or something. You know what I mean?
You're right.
Well, that's fair enough. Can we know the title?
The title is The Price of Immortality. That's what it's called.
Oh, well, there you go, guys. Look out for that one. And where can we find it?
It'll be on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. It might not be on Kindle Unlimited. I haven't decided yet, but it will definitely be on Amazon, either an audiobook and in print. June is the hopeful date.
Spotify audiobook?
Yep, it'll be there too.
All right, well, if you need somebody to read it, I can do great voices.
I might take you up on that. We'll see.
Just saying.
I've already got someone committed, but if they fall out, I might hit you up.
You didn't come to the Englishman first. I'm so disappointed, Mr. Long.
Yeah, you guys all. I know. Actually, it's fantasy, but it's not British fantasy. As much as I love Tolkien and I respect trust, I'm an Anglophile. You don't have to tell me. There's a reason I got into it to begin with, but I wanted to go something different. I just felt that the genre had been beat to death with the same tropes, and it sounded fun to try something else.
All right, man. Well, listen, Brian, it's been a pleasure chatting to you, mate. We're going to get back to the action because Anthony Zitch has managed to close on to the back of Nick Dwardick. Dude, it's been a pleasure. Look forward to seeing you on track. Hopefully catching up with you, seeing you catch some wins, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Hell yeah. Thank you, guys. Keep an eye on the points of this race. It's going to be a firecracker of a finish.
Take care.
I don't know. I wasn't there. See ya.
All right, bye. Of course, was Brian Long there, bless him as well. I've known Brian for a couple of years, been here from the beginning with him, seen his journey, absolutely amazing. Check out his book as well. Hope you've all wrote down the title because I can't remember what it was. Something about the price of immortality, I think it was. But
yes,
now,
it was.
It was that, wasn't it? Cool. But for now, Andy Zitch was closing on Nick Dwardick, Arvello closing on Jasper. That's the racing going to be carrying up as well. And as I said, we're going to keep an eye out and see what happens within the championship.
Well, at the moment, it is still even Stevens, 193 apiece between Smeaton in the lead. And more to the point, Adam Merchant still holding on to that second place at the moment. So it really is coming down to the wire. We are now on lap 18 out of 31. Two retirements, I'm afraid, to report here, JP. Bryce Benton and Frankie Brzezowski bring us down to 15 runners and riders. Battle happening here between Jeff Groff, Christian Jasper and Frankie Arvello. The gap between all three drivers is about a second and a half as we run on board with Frankie Arvello in the number 28. I think it could be the case that looking at things at the moment, Braden Carroll and Gabriel Hott may have just done Carson Keane might have done enough. Braden's currently up in second place, which is 27 points. Carson where's Carson at the moment? He's down in 10th at the minute, and that'll give him 15 points. So that'll pretty much wrap up the title for Dirty Mike and the boys in terms of the Simpletons Cup. But yeah, there's still plenty to go in this race. I mean, it's stabilised quite a bit. The gaps are starting to expand. I mean, you look at the gap between Adam Merchant and Elliot Court, who now has the fastest lap of the race on a 1:15.382, is nearly 6.6 seconds. So I think Adam's game plan here is keep it in fourth and just mitigate the gap between himself and Gabriel behind, and that will be enough to secure him the title on countback with regards to wins.
Yeah, he's just got to stay with him as Adam Merchant at the moment. He's got to make sure he can stay within touching distance. Frankie Arvello trying to stay within touching distance of Jasper trying to stay in touching distance of Groff in front. But this is the thing for Merchant. It's just making sure he stays in that position with him. You know, and JT putting it in. JT's laying it down. He's gone already. He's up the front. He knows what he needs to do, and he's doing it. He's probably saved all of his PTP. He hasn't had to use any of it, and he'd escaped to ride at the beginning. So for JT, it's vitally important. He just carries on doing what he's doing. That's the thing. But for Merchant, he's got to try and stay there. And at the moment, Mr. Elliot Court, who come back, of course, hold my beer, has overtaken him and is sitting in third at the moment. So Elliot Court doing a great job as well.
Yeah, I mean, Elliot did get surprised by Braden Carroll going through, of all places, Tarzan, and it was wheel to wheel for the briefest of moments, and Braden got the inside line for the next corner. So, but you got to look at it from this perspective. Adam has made up the most places. By the end of lap one, he was fifth already. So I think his game plan was, okay, let's get to fourth. If I can get to fourth and I need to stay there and hold position, that's what I've got to do. And that's incredibly crucial when you think about it, that it was, 171 points for Adam, For JT, it was 162. JT dropped it to 8 the minute he got pole position and that additional point. Meantime, Joel Peguero going back into battle again with Anthony Zitch. This is the battle over P12 as they're heading into Hugenholtz. This is the famed corner where a certain Daniel Ricciardo broke his little finger on his right hand by accidentally hitting the barriers on the right hand side at the top of the crest.
Wow.
So it is not a great place to end up in the wall, let's say. Don't ask Danny Rick ever about that again, because he'll go, well, that's probably what caused me not, he got replaced by Liam Lawson. And where's Liam at the moment? He's in Melbourne.
Snapped.
That was a bit of a code brown there for Anthony Zitch, and Joel Peguero able to take complete advantage, and that was coming out of turn 10 on the run down to the Hans-Ansport here at the S's. And then you've just got to be very careful with that inside line coming through there as well on the second part of the S, because you put one wheel in the kitty litter, you could be pirouetting and off and into the barriers on the other side of the track before you know it.
Yeah, Zitch done a little bit of a slide. The only good thing for Anthony Zitch now, he should be on his PTP. He's not. He's pulled out the drive. Maybe he's holding on to it, but he had that opportunity then, because in front of him, Peguero didn't have it. It was on cooldown. So for Zitch there, he really could have made a difference on Peguero. He could have gone through, probably PTP'd him and got past him on the straight, but he chose not to. Now, one of the things that is choosing here at the moment is Arvello is really pushing Jasper now. In through Box 9 they go, coming into Box 10. And at the moment, Arvello has closed that gap. He's done a great job with it, but he's now got to try and find his way past Christian Jasper. Always a difficult thing to do. We'll find out whether or not Arvello can do it.
Yeah, well, Arvello's going to really keep an eye on his rear wing, because it looks like Felipe Sarkis is also closing in. You know, when you look at what Felipe Sarkis did last time out at Red Bull Ring, he was in P3 at the end of the race and was quite taken aback by it in the post-race interview. So you can see the amount of velocity they're going to be pushing north of about 180 plus miles an hour. I've seen speeds of 190, 193 miles an hour recorded down the start-finish straight. Oh, but that's a bit wide through Tarzan by Frankie Arvello. Is this going to give Felipe Sarkis the opportunity to dive on the inside line? And Arvello is down the inside. Round the outside goes Felipe Sarkis at Hugenholtz. Just put it to the top. He used it like a grinding rail in skateboarding, didn't he? He just got the traction, and Frankie Arvello went, that was not part of the plan.
Yeah, Arvello there as well. The problem is now I'm going to say this in a way that I'm not ignorant and I'm not arrogant. I just know what the hell I'm talking about. On that part of the race circuit, in every car I have watched since they've done that, rescan that banking, the inside has not worked. It hasn't whatsoever. It doesn't matter whether I've watched it in Radical SR8s, SR10s, Super Formulas, Super Formula Lights. The inside does not work. You are too tight on the entry, you're too tight on the exit, and you can't get the power down. The outside line will just go and cruise straight through you. And we'll see it whether or not this battle holds going into this, and we'll see whether or not it's a move through into that corner, because that inside, Alex, is just not physically working. I don't know why, because in theory you go the shorter route, it should work, but it doesn't. It's just not carrying the speed that's needed to get out on the exit.
That's the thing with that top part going through Hugenholtz. You'll get a lot better traction, because that's where everyone wants to carry the speed and the momentum through, like we're seeing here between the pair of Dwornik and Peguero. Now, this is the battle for P11. The only time I've ever seen it in real life where it's actually worked was Euro Cup 3 for the Zandvoort Winter Trophy, Zandvoort Summer Trophy that I commentated last year, and someone actually dive bombed up the inside and made it work, and that was in very, very similar conditions to what we have now, where it's partially cloudy, but it was still quite bright up in the sky above. Braden Carroll, in the meantime, has just gone and put in a sub 1 minute 15 in this race. We're on lap number 24, so 8 to go including this one. A 1:14.895. Gap between him and JT Smeaton is probably the closest it's been for a little while now. 1.5 seconds. Peguero taking too much curbing through Kumo at turn number 13, which sent him a little bit high going through the approach into Addy Lyondike. So that's why he's now lost out. Probably the best part of 2 to 3 tenths of a second coming out of Addy Lyondike, and then the run down into Tarzan. Dvornik hits the kitty litter on the exit of Tarzan as they go back into Hugenholtz again. And Peguero using a slightly higher line, not by much, but probably half a car width, and is still able to get that gap down as they're going to go through. Oh, Dvornik, stop pinging again. Into Shavlach and now in towards Masters here at turn 8 before turn 9 and turn 10. But again, Peguero able to close up under braking, but it just seems like Dvornik's got that little bit more confidence with the traction as he powers out the corners.
Yeah, and that's the thing for Dvornik. He's managing his exits. His exit is saving him. He might get the entry wrong, but he seems to be able to nail the exit, which allows him to pull away from Peguero. Now, for me, if I was Peguero at this point, I'm on that PTP, and he is on the bottom. You can see he's only got 63 seconds or 61 now to go, and I would be roaring. Now, the question is Dvornik's not on his, so this should be Peguero. Dvornik's position his car in the middle to go down into turn 1. You've got to be big and brave. Pick him up, son. Pick him up. Squeeze him in. Put him in your pocket. Oh, not this time for Peguero. Now he's got to try and get Dvornik on the defense going into here. And again, Dvornik, runs the middle of the circuit, comes out the other side and absolutely roars away. So again, not good enough for Peguero. He needed just to go for it and send it on that inside.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, the thing is that when you're on the P2P and you're trying to, thread the eye of the needle up the inside into turn 1 at Tarzanbocht, you've got to be very, very committed. But he was holding the P2P all the way through that corner, and sometimes that can cause you a little bit of a hindrance rather than it being an assistance, so to speak. I mean, PTP on the Super Formulas, when you're on it, and we've seen it where I think it was Imola, we saw drivers like literally rinsing it until it was completely dry. And then I think it was the only race where we had less than 5 drivers with push to pass left on the counter, and at best it was probably 30 seconds if you were lucky. We're now halfway through lap 26 out of 31, and still, well, Gabriel Hopp is no longer challenging Adam Merchant because the gap was at 1.3 seconds. It's now over 2.8 as Joel Peguero goes very high into Hugenholtz. So does Anthony Zitch. And Zitch nearly has another code brown by going 2 wheels on the grass on the right-hand side of Hunsrück as they head through Shavlach down the hill. And again, it's, Shavlach is a very, very deceptive downhill right-hander, very much in the vein of Paddock Hill Bend. And I have seen incidents where people have just been a little bit too overzealous with trying to dive up the inside, because it's not a place on the circuit that you can really overtake unless you're really right up the rear exhaust pipe of the driver in front and you know that you've got the confidence in yourself and also the car, how the track has evolved to get to that point where, right, okay, time to throw the Hail Mary up the inside. You can sometimes through Shavlach going into Masters, going round the outside and then doing the switchback, but that's even more difficult to try and get done. Meantime, Christian Jasper is being closed in on by Felipe Sarkis. The gap now is about 9/10 of a second. There is the man who is nigh on champion-elect with this plus another 4 more laps to go until we reach the checkered. Adam Merchant just hitting his lines, not making any mistakes, because he knows that even if JT Smeaton wins this race and this man finishes in 4th, it's game over.
Yep. And we know it will go on, be going into countback scenario. A Merchant with the most wins will take it anyway. So it's going to be, he's doing, I think the terminology is doing what you need to do. And he's doing what he needs to do. He's saying it there, leading, sitting in the position, not setting the time in Tower of Light. not ablaze, don't get me wrong. He's doing everything he needs to, but at the same time, he's doing a job, and the job is to be in that 4th place, to stay with Smeaton and not allow Smeaton to get away. And although Smeaton is gone up the road a bit, you know, I think it's like 13 seconds. Adam's just like, carry on. I'm still sat where I need to be.
Yeah, and it looks like Dirty Mike and the boys with a handful of laps to go. It is going to be the case that Dirty Mike and the boys with a 2nd and a 10th will wrap up the Simpleton Cup, because mainly, well, you look at the advantage they had over the Go Squadra team of Christian Jasper and Jeff Groff. The gap was 35 points, and even with Carson all the way down in 10th, he started 9th, he's currently P10. Jeff and Christian are currently 6th and 7th. And that will give them a total of 37 points. And that won't be enough to close the gap, as we are fast approaching the conclusion of round 8 out of 8 for the 2025 Sim Racing for Simpletons winter season here at Circuit Zandvoort, as Felipe Sarkis trying to close in on Christian Jasper heading into turn 1 at Tarzan. Pulled up behind him, but there was no real opportunity for the Brazilian in the 333 to get past the 444 from the USA. But more to the point, it is about concentrating on one man that has come here to fight and bring the title fight right down to the wire. It's our race leader, JT Smeaton, who is nearly about to complete 29 laps out of 31. And after this, it'll be 2 to go. You can't say much when someone who knew he had to bring his A game to the season finale, that he did it starting off with pole position. And, well, it's 2 to go. Smeaton leads the way. Carroll in 2nd, Court in 3rd, Merchant on the verge of taking the title based on wins on countback in 4th.
Yeah, he is. He's doing a great job. It's hard not to praise JT. He knew what he had to do coming into this, and he had to make sure he won. After that, it was out of his hands. He couldn't do anything else. It was all down to Merchant in behind him, and it was down to whatever Adam did. Adam's done what he had to do. JT's done what he had to do. So effectively, both men have had the perfect race. Just unfortunately for JT, Adam's in that full spot.
I mean, if Adam hadn't gotten past those first few drivers in the opening lap, then it could have been curtains for him and JT Smeaton. It's more to the point of, you know, you come down to the season finale and it's a case of, you know, put up or shut up. You've got to do what you can. Now, JT Smeaton on the push to pass comes out of turn 14. Arie Luijendijkbok to start not only the last lap of this race, but the last lap of the 2025 Sim Racing for Simpletons winter season here at Circuit Zandvoort. He leads Braden Carroll, who is on the verge of securing the Simpleton Cup standings for Dirty Mike and the boys very, very shortly. It was only going to be a matter of fact that one driver from one team would make the moves, and Braden Carroll has definitely done that. Elliot Court, well, that's the one way to finish off your final race in the season. He's just put in the fastest lap, a 1:14.223. Adam Merchant is a further 12 seconds behind the number 23 from the United Kingdom, but that gap between him and Gabriel Hopp has just gone down to just over 2 seconds in the last few moments of this race. But our leader now is going to make his way through the Hans Ansbach for what is going to be the 31st and final time. JT Smeaton might have brought the fight to Adam Merchant. He's going to pick up the victory here at Circuit Zandvoort. Smeaton takes the win. Second, coming out of the final corner, Braden Carroll for Dirty Mike, and the boys will wrap up the Simpleton Cup. Elliot Court takes P3, and now we have a wait because out of the final corner, level on points, but with 4 wins to his credit this season, Adam Merchant becomes your 2025 Sim Racing for Simpletons Winter Season Drivers Champion.
Yeah, great job from Adam. There was a battle with Sarkis running down to the line. Sarkis couldn't get Jasper, but Adam Merchant did it. He did what he needed to do as well. He's gone and taken the championship. He's done an absolute stellar job. JT, so close, but so far. He will finish in second in the championship. Now, we do have to give one man a big shout out at the moment here as well. Oh, there he is, having a little bit of a blink on me, is Mr. Elliot Court, who I believe with that place wrapped up third in the championship. So a great job from him. Despite missing the first 2 races, he charged up to third as well, but that could have something to do with his 4 wins in a row.
Yeah, pretty much. He's you know, we've seen wins from multiple different drivers, but Jake Katz comes across the line in 12th, and Joel Peguero, Josh Benjamin, Frankie Brzezowski, and Bryce Benton are the drivers that will not finish the race. Joel Peguero pitting with a lap to go. We're just waiting for the number 15 of SR4S's Anthony Zitch to cross the line, and that is it. The dust finally settles here at the North Sea coast at Circuit Zandvoort, but your winner of the race, JT Smeaton, it went to a tie break. It went to a count back, and that's how you want the season to finish. Smeaton on 193 points takes the final victory of the season by just over 2.7 seconds from Braden Carroll, who wraps up the Simpleton Cup final standings for the Dirty Mike and the boys crew alongside Carson Keane. Elliot Court third in the standings. Adam Merchant, by virtue of victories this season, is fourth, and also with it becomes the Sim Racing for Simpletons 2025 Winter Season Drivers Champion. Gabriel Hopp, Jeff Groff, Christian Jasper, Felipe Sarkis, Carson Keane and Frankie Arvello round out the top 10. Nick Dvornik, Jake Katz, Anthony Zitch are the last of the classified finishers on the same lap as the leader, with Joel Peguero, Joshua Benjamin, Frankie Brzezowski, and Bryce Benton from Rush Hour Racing, aka Hello Kitty Racing, rounding out your finishing order. Well, JP, what a way to close off our coverage here on JPB of Sim Racing for Simpletons Winter Season. A big thank you to, I've had TikTok open the whole time, and we've got, I think it's over 1,000 likes on the stream, which has gone all the way through this broadcast. So a big thank you to everyone watching on TikTok and sharing and liking the live on there. It's you said, well, let's see how it goes. Well, not too bad for a first time broadcast on not just YouTube, eh, mate? Yeah,
we'll give it, we thought we'd give it a shout, see what goes on, and we got the all clear from TikTok to go live, so we thought we'd give it a try and get our content out there a little bit more on that one. But YouTube as well, much love to you all. I think we've got JT Smeaton in YouTube chat who's just put a cryy face. But dude, you finished second. You just needed to win 2 more races, and then it really would have stuffed up the maths in the booth, because we wouldn't have had no idea where we were going to go after that. So, unfortunately, JT, it is what it is. But we've given TikTok a try, 1,000 likes. We'll put a couple more out there, see how we get on as well. But much love to everybody that's joined us on that one. Going to be an exciting journey over on TikTok at the same time. Of course, we've got Vert in YouTube chat, bless him. He always appears as well. So much love to you, Vert.
Yeah, well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the coverage here on JPB for Sim Racing for Simpletons 2025 winter season. You joined Alex Goldschmidt and James Parfitt on commentary throughout the entirety of this season. Lots of racing still to come up, because at the early hours of tomorrow morning, you and I will be back on commentary duty, because we've got the NARS Virtual Modern Sports Car Championship 2025, Round 3, the 1.5 hours of Sebring coming up. So expect GTP and GT3 and LMP2 action galore over 90 minutes at the Sebring International Raceway. We've got the SP installations in association with Jack Ashton Racing, round 3 at VIR coming up on the 16th, and there's still plenty more to come. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Do all the clicky stuff, hit the notification bells, and we would very, very much appreciate you joining us on future streams, not just on YouTube, but also on TikTok. Well, race hard, race fair, and if in doubt, you better go flat out. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Good night.